Good morning. It's October 23rd, 2013. I'm Alex Ansari in Gunnison, Colorado. For the last week, that is. And I will be in Trinidad soon. I'm actually moving to a larger town. That's where I'm going to be for the winter. One of the things that I've learned in the 10 years, come next year, the 10 years that I've been involved in some way, shape, or form of creating alternative media or promoting the voices or opinions of others or sharing my own. In the 10 years, the anniversary coming up next summer of me being involved in alternative media, I have seen so many doomsday predictions. I've seen so much disinformation. And as a rule of thumb, I have used my intuition for the most part, my gut instinct, that inner voice, when it comes to what stories I cover, where I put my focus, my spiritual understanding or perception of what's going on beyond what we see physically. I think people need to keep the focus on that. On listening to that inner voice inside of themselves, or somehow being able to tap into that, tune out of the external voices and influences. And while social media is a great tool to instantaneously reach people all over the world because it's such a great tool, it functions like crack cocaine for a lot of people. And for those of us that love information, that love new ideas, it can become addictive. And when we become addicted to something, we may become out of balance. You know, a drug addict may not drink water. They may not eat food. They may just start their day and just begin the chase for the bag. Well, with Facebook, if we start our day, and I've done this so many times, and we're dealing with the virtual realm, and even if the information's based in goodness, when we wake up and people are like, oh my God, the shit's hitting the fan right now, or next week, or we are so screwed, and you surround yourself with energies of people that are strictly looking at what's happening physically and being reactive, not, where's a larger picture? Where's the nature of karma? Because there were voices years ago saying, you can't keep doing what you're doing and not face some sort of repercussion. It's called karma. I was one of those voices in just the last decade. Not a big deal. Nothing special about me. Just one voice out of millions to billions publicly today. You know, either making alternative media content or speaking on a fucking corner. Where they're saying, God's going to judge you for what you're doing, or someone's just saying, hey, what goes around comes around. Can't escape it. They'll never be able to escape it. Right now in America, there's a lot of people that were supporting the system yesterday that are now feeling the brunt of the New World Order. Now they say they're against it. But yet their thinking, in many cases, is still dark. It's still selfish. It's still fearful. It's still reactive. And they're willing to admit that there are agents out there. There's a lot of paranoia. Maybe that one's an agent because they don't agree with me. Maybe she's a disinfo agent because she doesn't agree with me. And yet, despite all this widespread concern about who is an agent, I have never in my fucking life seen people on social media, Facebook, YouTube, posting and sharing known disinformation. EU Times, beforeitsnews.com, source of fall, fill in the blank here. A secret source within the Kremlin states. I already made a video about it. But yet I also feel frustrated because, like, why even bother to even talk about it? They aren't listening to you, Alex. But yet I see somebody post some other ridiculous green Martians from the planet Pop-Tart are going to come down and get your chihuahua on November 1st, on October 18th, on October 1st, on November 13th. Comet Ison is going to come and it is going to penetrate the Earth's womb. And there is just going to be just magnificent fireworks shooting out of the Earth's core. Get your fucking food supply today. See, all this shit that people are passing around, There are no 400,000 Russian troops in the U.S. right now. They're not here. There isn't a single photograph. Yes, there are foreign troop drills. Yes, we're heading towards somewhere crazy. But if we let disinformation get us to cry wolf, then their agenda is fulfilled. We've discredited ourselves, and eventually, and you're going to see this over the course of the next decade, people will just completely tune out. Like they started tuning out a couple years ago, after martial law was not declared after Bush left office. And the torch was just handed over to Obama, and everything seemed to be okay for some people. No, seriously, even if they knew that Obama was a part of the system, for a lot of people it was like, either, well, fuck, we're fucked now, the Antichrist is in, we're all going to die. Or, maybe he's not as bad as Bush. That's a really popular one. Maybe he'll bring out some 9/11 truth. Oh, yeah. I know of several 9/11 conspiracy, quote, truthers that voted for Barack Obama. This is how deep the propaganda goes, that maybe Barack Obama would bring out 9/11 truth. We don't want to get involved with disinformation. We want to help others stay away from disinformation. Because if they surround themselves with disinformation, they can burn out. They might start to become crazy and saying things that have no basis in reality. The problem with people, a lot of people that are only looking at physically what's going on, they're completely discounting that the nature of spiritual warfare is to make you weak, not strong. Weak, afraid, not in a position to fight back your rapist, to fight back your captor. So when you spew out language, oh, we're screwed, oh, we're going to die, it's all going down November 1st, you come across as a really weak person, especially when you're doing it from a dense population center, a big city. You're talking about how broke you are. You can't contribute to alternative media. You can only consume alternative media. You can't do anything with your life. You can't move out because you're hurting so much economically. And what's actually happening now is all these minds are being captured. And all these humans all over the globe are sitting here checking their status update, posting another threat to physical survival, and leaving less room and less space in their lives for spiritual teachings, for spiritual understandings, for a spiritual experience. And at the same time, there are those that say they're on the spiritual journey and say that they're, loving and they believe in karma. And they will not look at the physical events taking place outside. We're talking about extremism. People that say they're spiritual, but then they project negativity. Oh, that's negative. I can't look at that. I'm an ascended being. And then on the other side, you got people like, oh my God, we're dying. There's fluoride. The mosquitoes are injecting fluoride into me. I read it on the website about Bill Gates and the flying mosquitoes giving vaccines, but throw in an article from beforeitsnews.com, throw in an article from EU Times saying that the mosquitoes are actually injecting fluoride into our body. And people will read it. People will post it. And they will post it to their other conspiracy friends that have only been involved in this for 3-4 years. And they will go, oh my God, and they will repost it. There isn't very good leadership. I'm sorry that I can't provide that in the capabilities that I wish I could, or that maybe I am capable of. I've been traveling. I've been trying to free myself from myself. I was different years ago. I feel more freer by being able to step away from the news and live outside the cage. And it was horrifying to watch people try to peg at me or my hair or my clothes. Not so much my clothes. The fact that I wasn't pleasing them, that gave me a really close with a microscope understanding of human judgment, callousness, lots of things. Victim consciousness, most of all. Above all, the undisputed area was victim consciousness that I saw. I'm like, wait a minute. You got all these people that are believing the end is near, or that martial law is around the corner, death camps around the corner, foreign troops around the corner, and they're not going anywhere. And I'm just still in a semi-state of shock. I'm trying to return to that state of shock because that is, it alarms the system. More than the system itself, the human body, our physical system, it just goes through some sort of alarm mode where you realize those around you, they are not looking at the page the same way. The page they're reading says all is lost for them. The only hope that does exist for them is another politician. I'll stand with Rand. I'll stand with Rand. I know that might have hurt your ears. There's a I Stand With Rand 2016 movement going around, and this guy Rand continues to backstab his people over and over and over again. It's even rumored that Ted Cruz voted for the Obamacare bill after he did his filibuster. And there was a CNN report and a couple of reports that talked about this. Facebook addiction has inhibited people's research and creative capabilities. And there is a danger in getting too fucking close to this machine. Your third eye, your intuition, these are all things that are valuable, that are real, that are essential, that are a part of your so-called truther toolkit. You are not going to find out what's going on for real from this box. You need to think outside this box, because there's things you need to understand about yourself and why you're on this earth. There is an internal revolution waiting to happen inside of you, and for me 2012 was fucking real. Because in the years leading up to that, I was dealing with the Alex internal changes, the Alex internal earthquakes and tsunamis of emotion and insight and new directions creating themselves before me, just like an earthquake, just splitting the road, just all of a sudden, new paths in my life, just asking for help, and the help being there every single time. Everything that I need, I receive. Everything that I want, it's a different story. Discernment is understanding the difference between what you need and what you want. They are not one and the same. And sometimes we may put out there what we need, and we may paint it out to be a certain way, and the universe goes, that's nice. Here, I got a better idea. How about this? Is this cool? And you're like, whoa, that's an even better idea. Thanks. The more you talk about the synchronicity, the more you recognize it, the more it happens. And the more it is happening for people. Think of something, think of someone, you get a phone call, you get a text. Think about a certain subject while you're reading a book, all of a sudden you come across that word in the book, or you hear that word on the radio, or you're thinking about something and you see that image as you look up and you see that bumper sticker on the dusty car driving away in front of you on the street that you randomly happen to be walking along. The more you recognize it, the more you talk about it, the more you speak of it, the more it becomes real. This is why it's important for us to be senior to our own perspectives, our thoughts, our own energy, and own that. And be proud of the fact that you're a creator. You can't be held down by other people. You cannot be held down by the perspectives of other people. And if you're really on the path to truth and knowledge, then you will say things that are unpopular, even amongst conspiracy-minded individuals, that while so many of them are so concerned, again, about all these things, there doesn't seem to be a big enough exodus from the urban environments. So it's almost as if we have a battered wife situation. They just can't take their packs and leave with other fellow people. It's a battered wife situation. They're being held as prisoners within the city itself. I'm now out of time for this video, so I'm going to hit stop, and I'm going to continue in part 2. Continue this dialogue, because I think it's important for us to start the day not only in breakfast, still got to eat, but with the right mentality.